Hello and welcome to the drink decal section of the project. This is Mr. Shalat. I'm going to have an online tutorial video. Obviously you can pause and rewind this as many times as you need. If I'm going a little too fast, just rewind it and you can play catch up. So we're going to talk about this page of the packet here. You're going to be making your own drink decal label. Alright, on here you're going to do some custom branding, coming up with the name of your soda. Can't use Coke, can't use Pepsi, you got to come up with your own. We're going to list how many calories are in the bottle, talk about fluid ounces, okay? How big of a bottle did you bring in? Is it a 2 liter? Is it a 20-ounce bottle? Depending on what you brought in, all of you are going to use different numbers, different calories, so on and so forth. We'll talk about the nutrition facts label and the UPC label, which will go on your final decal. And we'll also add a please recycle logo to our bottle. So how do we get started? So we're going to jump over into Photoshop. Alright, so inside of Photoshop, as the image shows on your packet there, you need to know what the circumference of your bottle is. So we're going to teach you how to measure the circumference of the outside of your bottle. Whatever that measurement is, you're going to add 1/2 inch and enter that under the width. Make sure it's set to inches. Okay, the height of the label, same thing. You're going to measure the label. Okay, put that here under height. Resolution will be set at 300, and the rest of the information there can be listed as such. CMYK and white contents is fine, and we'll go okay from there. So let me start a new document here based off of the numbers that I need. Do not copy these numbers. I repeat, do not copy these numbers. These numbers are for my particular bottle. It may not be for your particular bottle, so don't use the ones I'm using. Okay, circumference of my bottle plus an additional 1/2 inch. Okay, I enter the height of the label, 300. Okay, I would set this to CMYK color. Okay, and then your background can either be transparent or white, whichever you prefer. That does not matter. Alright, I press OK. Here is my drink label. This is where I'll be laying out my document. Alright, now it will get confusing on where you should put your soda label, where you should put your nutrition facts, and things like that. It becomes difficult to know where all this stuff is going to go. So my suggestion is take your label off of your bottle and take a picture of it. Okay, here I have taken a Cherry Coke bottle, okay, Cherry Coke Zero. Alright, I have taken a picture of the label. Now I want to transfer this label over into my new document that I have going up top here. Alright, so what I'll do is I'll first crop this down. Well, remember the crop tool is over here. It's the third one down on the left. Okay, and then you can grab the grabber handles, and I want you to crop off all the extra desk or table that you might have in your picture. We don't need all of that stuff when we're bringing the image over. Okay, so once you have that, you press return on your keyboard, or you can hit the check mark at the top of the screen, and that will crop your photo. Alright, I'm going to switch over to my move tool here. Alright, and I'm going to drag this picture up over top of the other panel, drag down, and then let go. So I transferred from one page to the other. I had this tab over here, I pressed and dragged, I kept holding, it switches over, I drag down and let go. Now this is not going to fit. You're going to have to size this up. So to size your image, you got to make sure Show Transform Controls is checked, and we're going to size this picture down to fit inside, okay, of the document. And there's a reason we're doing this. Every bottle is going to be different, okay, but move my toolbox out of the way here. By having a picture, you're going to understand how big you should be making everything. Okay, so it becomes important to have that photo. It's just going to use this as a guide here. Alright, so there's my drink label, basically what I need. Once you're done, you press the return key to lock it in, and then at the top you would uncheck Show Transform Control. So there's our Cherry Coke label. Alright, I need to determine how big is my front panel of my drink label. Okay, so you have your rulers. Okay, across the top you have a ruler, and down the left hand side you have a ruler. If you don't have the rulers, you press Command R on your keyboard and it will turn your rulers on and off. And I want to come over to my left hand ruler, and I'm going to press and hold on the ruler and drag over and drop one of these imaginary guides. And I'm also going to do that over here on this side. So now I know how much room I have for the front of my soda bottle. You'll notice I have the nutrition facts here. Every one of these labels is going to be different. Your nutrition facts might be over here on this side and so on. Okay, none of them are going to match. All right, so I want to set up an area where I'm going to put my nutrition facts, which is going to be here, and then over on this side I have room for my UPC label. Okay, so I'm going to put an area over there of how big I need to make my UPC label. Okay, this area over here on the right, okay, that area needs to stay clear of any designs because that's how you're going to end up taping it together. So this side will wrap around to the other side and it will be adhesive right to there. Okay, so when you're taking your bottle apart, you should see where your adhesive ends. Okay, and you want to adjust that guide to where your adhesive would end. All right, now I have the basic layout. What I can do is I come over here to my layers palette and I can turn the eyeball off. See here, this little eyeball? I click on the eyeball and that turns it off. Now I'm able to start my design. So on my background layer, if I want to set this to a particular color, okay, I come down to my sixth tool on the right. It's my gradient tool. I press and hold and I can get my paint bucket. If I want to make my layer, okay, my background a certain color, I can come over and let's say I want to make it yellow. I click the fill and my label turns yellow. Or I click red and it will turn red depending on the color that you want. If you would like to have two different colors, let's say that I wanted a neon green and a white. I want it to fade between two different colors. Instead of using my paint bucket, I could use my gradient tool and press and drag. Okay, and as I drag, it's going to give me a different color. So if I drag up and down, okay, the green's at the top. If I go the opposite way, the green's at the bottom. So depending on the type of label you're trying to create, okay, you might want to have some type of fade. That's how you do it. Okay, so that's with the gradient tool. You have your two colors set here, and then as you drag, it's going to make it in those two colors. Okay, so talking about custom branding, if we want to put some text over here, okay, obviously here in this space is where I'm going to display the name of my soda. Okay, so you can't use Sprite, you can't use Coke, you can't use Pepsi, you got to make up your own. So I'm going to get my type tool and I'm going to come over here and I'm going to press and drag a text box. All right, and I'll type the name of my soda. All right, so I'll just type custom soda. Okay, whatever you're going to call your soda. All right, that's up to you. If you want to put it on two different lines, you can. The color of your text, okay, if I highlight my text here, the color of my text is not this color. The color of my text is at the top of the screen. So if I want to change that up, okay, I can use a black color, all right, and it will stand out that much more. Okay, if I wanted to use a different color, I can come over here to swatches and say, you know what, I really want hot pink. All right, so now I have my hot pink text. All right, up here we change our font. Okay, there's all those fonts on the computer that you guys have used throughout the year. You find one that you really like, okay, and we'll really make that logo stand out. Okay, you can come in here. There's tons of different fonts on the computer. Who do I want to pick? Let's go with Hobo. All right, so I'm going to go with that particular font. Maybe I need to make it a little larger. Okay, you can play around with it. Okay, there's tons of fonts on here to select. All right, the color of your font is located up here at the top of the screen. If you would like other font controls that you can't necessarily see, you would click on this little box over here. Okay, and it brings up, okay, how big is the font? Do you want to make all your letters capital letters? Okay, what is the spacing in between the lines? So I can adjust how close the word soda is to the word custom. You're coming up with your own kind of drink label, your own theme. Remember, it's going to match your commercial and all that. All right, so let me do small caps here. All right, we'll go with that. Now, you may or may not like how your text appears. Okay, right now your text is appearing in a straight line. If you would like to have your text bend, here's how you do it. Okay, up here at the top of the screen, right next to where you set the color, you're going to see this T with an arc under it. When I click on that button, it brings up my text wrap. Okay, so I can warp my text. Okay, if I want to arc my text, if I choose arc, I'll slide this out of the way so you can see what's happening. Okay, now you can see my text is bent. I can come in and I can adjust how much is that text bent. Okay, there's all different sorts of things that you can select here. It's going to do all different things to your text. All right, and as you make the adjustments, okay, it's going to adjust your text there. All right, now once I have that, okay, I could put my name of my drink right there in the middle. Okay, maybe I want to make my text stand out a little bit more. So if you go up to the layer menu and you come down to layer style, you could choose stroke. Okay, so if I choose stroke, and I'll slide this out of the way, you can see it puts a nice thick line. Okay, it's putting a black line going around it right now. Maybe I don't want black. Maybe I really wanted yellow. Okay, so now I have that yellow outline going around my text. Okay, or maybe I wanted, you know, orange or red. Okay, so you can come in, you can select whatever color you want that you think is going to stand out. All right. You can also bevel your text. So when I choose bevel, if you look at my letters, you can see they become more round. Okay. I can contour them. I could come in at the bottom here. I could add a drop shadow. So when I click drop shadow, you can see adding that shadow behind it. Okay. You can also adjust that drop shadow. So how big is that drop shadow? Okay. I can adjust, you know, how far does the drop shadow come away from my image. Okay, so all that information here, okay, the size of it, how much of a drop shadow, all of that is customizable. All of these things allow you to do different effects to your text. All right, so it makes it look a heck of a lot better, all right, when I have that on as opposed to that. Okay, plain text does not really stand out. We add some effects, it's really going to make that pop off of your bottle. Okay, looking good so far, looking good. All right, so other things we need to do. We need to add the calories to the front of the bottle. If we remember what our bottle looked like, okay, it had this calorie label on it. We got to make sure we get that on our bottle. So if I come to my tools here, right beneath the type tool, you have all the different rectangle tools and so on and so forth. Custom shape tool. Under the custom shape tool, there's a ton of tools that you can select to draw the shape. The one you want, actually you don't even need to go into this. If you come over here, there is a rounded rectangle tool, and we could just press and drag that box. Okay, that box that we're drawing, I made mine green. You could set the color up top, okay, of what color it's going to be. So if you wanted that to be a certain color, okay, up top is where you change that information. Okay, let's say I want to make this particular one black. Now when I press and drag it, okay, that would look really good when I add a white font on top of it to match kind of what they did over here on the Coke bottle. Okay, so they have a white box with black font. Yours would be the exact opposite. Okay, it really depends on the color scheme that you are selecting for your bottle. So far, so good. All right. You also need to add some fluid ounces on the front of your label here. So you'd get that type tool and type out that information. Okay, much like our Coke label here. Okay, they tell us how much soda is in that actual bottle. You need to do the same as well there. All right. I'm going to stop this video and I'm going to start part 2. But in part 2, we need to talk about the nutrition facts. We need to talk about the UPC label. All right, and the recyclable logo and things like that. So we're going to stop this video for now. Check me out in part 2 and we'll talk about those other items.